Oh, you got her, dude. She's down. Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
All right, folks, welcome back to another Fall Obsession Podcast episode. I'm Sam Thrash. I'm your podcast host. Our podcast is driven by Ridge Rock Hunt Company, and we are on this week with the fine folks themselves over there, Derek and Lacey. Welcome back, guys. Happy to have y'all back on here.
Man, yeah, glad to be back. Always a pleasure.
Man, so I know y'all have been busy. I've been busy. We've been trying to set this up, for a little while now, but fill me in on what's been going on, because not too long ago when I sent you a text saying we need to get you back on here was shortly after I saw a picture of you with an alligator. What have you been doing, man?
Well, I'll tell you what, that was an absolute riot. I mean, when I tell you, I've been on an alligator once before with my bosses. I work for a fair oil company also, in addition to the Ridge Rock. But I went hunt with my boss's friends, and they didn't quite have the equipment or any of that kind of stuff. And I tell people, and I actually told him, I was like, dude, your friends aren't near about redneck enough to go that. So, which is 100% true. So, but I went with my buddy Hunter Perrette. He has Gator Taker hooks, and like he makes his own hooks. The guy knows what he's doing. He had told me he went on a Montana antelope hunt with us last year, and we just had a blast. And so I said, man, yeah, let's do it. He said, if you get a tag, let's go hunting. I was like, all right, perfect. So we get out on the water on a Friday, probably about 5:30 that afternoon, and just scanning the water, looking for eyes, and then we go cast on some. We snagged a little like a 6'6" right off the bat. Had a little action, got the first experience of actually having to hold its mouth and tape it up, which is, it's really eerie. It's scary.
Yeah, I imagine so, man. Holy cow.
Because all you think about is the stuff that you see on TV. And of course, if they bite you, they're going to start rolling, and then it's just you lose an appendage or whatever the case may be. So, but anyway, so we had some other guys. So alligator hunting is a team effort. I had the tag, but it wasn't like Derek caught the alligator. It was, once you hook one, it's all hands on deck.
Oh, yeah.
Literally. One guy's driving the boat, and he's all right, back up, pull forward. It's just a whole lot of action. I tell people my thought process as far as whenever you actually hook one, you get a hook in one, because that's what we do. We throw the treble hooks and get a hook in it. Whenever you actually hook one, it's like 4th and 1 with 2 seconds go, like on the goal line.
Yeah.
And the gator that we hung, our friends called and said, hey, y'all get over here. We're hooked up to a big gator. So we went to help them. Well, they're sitting there. We're watching them for about 15, 20 minutes. So they have 3 hooks in the gator. And I was like, all right, well, y'all got it under control. If y'all need us, we're just going to go right up here about 400 yards and see if we can, get a hook in another gator. So that's what we did. So we're probably about 300 yards from them, and we hook a big gator. He comes to the top. We threw one time, cast one time, and he didn't hook him. And then he came to the top again, and we were able to get a hook in him. And then we were able to get 3 more hooks in him. Well, for 30 minutes, our friends are down there, and they're still fighting it. Well, they end up figuring out that the gator had gotten loose from them, and they were actually all hooked up into a tree in the bottom of the river. And so they were sitting there for 30 minutes fighting a tree, because it's hard to tell, because an alligator, whenever you hook them, they'll go to the bottom and just sit, And so we were hooked up to this gator, and they're like, we've been hooked up to a tree and blah, 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 this kind of stuff. So anyway, we hooked up with that gator at 2:30 in the morning. And by the time we got that gator in the boat, it was 5:30 a.m.
No kidding.
Yes. Like literally, when I tell you it is 4th and 1 with a yard to go at the end of regulation, you got to score to win. It was 4th and 1 for 3 hours.
Holy cow.
It was intense. But now the gator, it was 11 feet 4 inches, and it weighed 535 pounds. It was just a heavyweight.
Holy
There was
cow.
a lot of gators that were taken in Mississippi this year that were over, 10. I mean, over 11, 12. I think maybe in a few 13s possibly, and some of those, there were several that didn't weigh 500 pounds. They were even longer. So I'm telling you, this thing was like pit bull thick. I mean, that's what it was. And it was a fight, man. I mean, it was just, the poles are just bent the entire time. We had lines breaking, and so we would grab another pole and somebody would put another hook on it and all this stuff. And it was crazy. And then we had to get it in the boat. So actually how it went, for about the first 45 minutes, we had them. And generally what they said is an alligator can stay underwater for about 45 minutes. And then they have to come up for air. So he came up for air one time, and it was like, zzz, the line going to all three poles. And he come up out of the water, man, and made a big old splash. We were all like, whoa. I mean, it was like really cool.
Holy cow.
And he went back down and he just sat on the bottom. And he sat there, and it was like an hour later, and we saw some bubbles coming up. And when the bubbles come up, we're like, all right, he's fixing to come up. Well, he never came up. So we're like, well, good grief. So we sat there and just held it and held it and held it and held it and held it. And we'd pull up, and it'd come up, and we'd pull up, and it'd come up, and then it would just go back down. Well, number one, the current has a lot to do with that. But number two, the alligator actually did not come up for air and just kept fighting and actually drowned himself.
Really?
Yes.
After
It was
all
crazy.
that time. Holy cow.
Never had that happen before. And so when we pulled it up to the boat, and the reason we knew that it did, because we pulled it up to the boat, they have a flat rope that they have a hook tied to, and so that way you can grip it better. And it's got a bigger hook, so they call it a willy hook here in Mississippi. And so it's a bigger, larger hook, and they throw it, and you kind of just hand toss it, and you try to get a bigger hook in the alligator. That way you can pull it with more force, and got it up to next to the boat, and then they harpooned it, and it didn't splash, or it didn't, because usually if you harpoon a live animal, they're gonna cut up sideways.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and so we got his mouth taped up and pulled him up in the boat, and that was it.
Wow.
I mean, but I'm telling you, man, it was to see that, the pictures, and you saw the pictures, but to see the pictures, I mean, it just, like, when we had that thing on the side of the boat, I mean, literally, his head was that big.
You're staring at a freaking dinosaur.
Yes. I mean, it was literally, it's in the freezer.
I was going to say, his head's in the freezer. And
I'm going to go get you talk to Lacey, I'm going to get the head.
like, gave our food away out of the freezer to see his head in the freezer. We have a chest freezer, and then we have an upright freezer. And we try to keep our meat and stuff that we use a lot in the upright. And then we had a good bit of turkey in the chest, and then like my vegetables that I put up this summer. And I shouldn't say he did give some away, but we ate turkey nuggets a bunch of nights in a row because we had to cook a bunch of meat up.
Wow.
In the chest freezer. So,
Oh my word.
yeah, but it literally takes up half the freezer.
Holy cow. Yeah.
I hear you. It's big.
Oh boy.
Like a motorcycle.
Hey, on this episode of Fall Obsession, you might be a redneck if.
We have had plenty of unusual appeanerances on our podcast. We've had pets and animals cut in. We've had a dead freaking pronghorn head freshly killed on the table in between us. But I never thought we'd have an alligator head on our,
Hold on a second, I
on our
gotta get my
podcast.
knife.
Wait, leave it to those Mississippi rednecks.
So if you guys are listening on one of our streaming apps, you got to go check out the podcast video on YouTube, because Derek just pulled this thing out of the freezer. He's about to show us this freaking head right here.
We'll have to put another bag in it.
You know, did you look like the pictures of it? Really, like you said, dinosaur. I mean, that's exactly, it's just amazing to me.
Lacey hasn't even seen this head yet.
Yeah,
Oh, she hadn't.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
Get back, Axel.
Look at that thing.
Oh, it's huge.
You hadn't seen it yet. Oh my gosh.
Oh my word.
I mean,
look at Lacey.
Yeah, that's right next to her. Holy cow. That thing is huge, man. Golly. Look at that. Oh my word, man. That is incredible.
the coloring on it's beautiful. I wish y'all could see it.
So I'm 6'2".
That's nasty on that side.
That is from your belt to your chin, man. Holy cow.
Yeah. It's heavy.
Wow. That is incredible.
There's a first fall obsession alligator head on the episode.
Absolutely. Holy cow. Never thought we'd see that. Oh my word.
Axel, our dog's back here like, are you gonna let me get that or what?
My turn, yeah. Wow.
So I'm getting it mounted, and
yeah, I was gonna ask what the plan is for that.
I have. So I'm not getting the actual head. I'm getting a skull mount done. All right, and then what I'm doing from there is there's a guy over in Georgia called Skull Mill Works that puts his bronze and designs and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's gonna bronze it and put my logo on it.
That will look bad to the bone, my friend.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, I gotta get the gator back in the freezer.
All right. Well,
The hide, he has the hide we're having tanned. So I'm having it done in a real light, like a light tan, real neutral color. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait.
So when you say hide, like I know nothing about alligator hunting or these animals really, but are you talking about like all 11 feet of this thing? Or
yeah.
Wow. Where's that gonna go?
Right above the bed.
I'm not really sure. So we did talk a little bit about the last time we were on here. Derek and I just got married, and so we still have two houses. He has his house, I have my house, and we're just kind of back and forth. Izzy is still in school. She's in 10th grade, and she goes to school, where I live, and it's just, it's like 45 minutes apart, so it's not that bad, but
yeah.
One day we're going to consolidate, and my hope is to have a nice, I'm not going to say man cave because I want it to be part of my cave too.
Derek's back there telling me it is man cave.
So, but a nice hunting room to be able to put our trophies and our heads, and so that's what I'm hopeful for. That's future, but until then, I really don't know where we're going with it.
Figure it out as you go, I guess.
We've resolved to we've got several heads headed our way. He's got an antelope that's en route to us right now. And then I have my axis that's getting mounted. I have my buck from last year that is almost done. I'm trying to think if we have anything else. But anyway, I know those three things for sure. We don't have wall space, Sam. It's becoming a problem. So we've really talked about maybe even decorating our offices at work. So
I was gonna say, at the rate y'all are going, have to come up with a long-term plan for that. Build an extra room or something.
Well, he said that he said I could just build me a big shop, and I was like, no.
Oh,
no,
come on.
not yet. But it's fun. It's fun. And I'm not, most of my friends are like, I can't believe you have that stuff hanging in your house. I'm like, I like it. So.
Oh, yeah. If it's done right, it can look really good.
That's right. That's right.
That was heavy.
There's your workout for the day right there.
Yeah.
So I want to ask Lacey, because Derek's over here going dinosaur hunting. How do you feel about this?
I was real anxious the entire weekend.
I imagine so.
Yeah, so we originally, when he drew the tag, I really had planned on being able to go with him. But schedules just easy. My daughter cheers and the first football game, second football game, something. We had a football game that night, and I needed to be with her, so I didn't get to go. But I think probably not so much I wanted to be there because that scares me. I'm just gonna tell you up front. But I guess that maybe I thought I'd be there to protect him and he'd be okay. I don't know.
Don't do that.
But yeah, I was glad to see him come home. He got home at 10 o'clock Sunday morning, and I've never been so thankful just to see him come down the driveway because it was nerve-wracking, especially when, because a lot of places he didn't have service, and I try to leave him alone. If he's off hunting or something, I don't stay on the phone texting. He'll check in when he can, but he told me, I was like, well, where are y'all going to be? And he's like, you got me on 360, just pull it up every once in a while. You'll be able to see where we are. That wasn't even working most of the time. So, and then when he texted me at 5:30 that morning, I guess that was Saturday morning, right?
Yeah, like 6 or so.
So I was awake, but still laying in the bed, and I got a message from him, and it was like, we got a big one. And I was like, how big? And he said 500 plus. And I was like, huh? Huh? Are you coming home now?
Nope, I got one more gator to catch.
But another thing, he was with Hunter, and he's experienced and doing what he does, and I guess that's another thing too, is just knowing that he was with somebody that was competent and knew, and I trust him not to put him in an unsafe situation.
Right.
So that's it. From the wife staying at home, sitting back. That's comforting.
Yeah, for sure.
Derek's smart. He's not going to put himself into too crazy of a situation.
Yeah, I wasn't too keen on grabbing that alligator's mouth and keeping it shut. So
nope.
I had to get the heart pumping.
Yeah, for sure. So y'all, the group, you said you caught before yours. You caught a 6-something footer. Is that right?
Yeah, we caught a 6'4", I think is what it was. We actually got it in the boat. I took a picture with it, and we cut the tape off and put it back in the water.
Okay. So y'all, at this point, when you're getting onto yours, you had already had this experience with this smaller gator that ended up being close to half the size. So At what point did y'all realize how big the size of the one that you had on the hook?
Well, you can tell by the size of their head and how much they have sticking out of the water, but we really didn't understand exactly how big the gator was until he came out of the water the first time after we had all the hooks in him. But when he came out, it literally looked like what's that alligator? Not Jurassic Park. What's the alligator movie?
Don't get me guessing movies. Yeah, I'm not good
at that either. So, but anyway, that sucker come up out of the water, and he came up and swam, and he splashed, and his tail went whoosh, and went back down and made a big splash, and we're like, big gator.
Wow. Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah, so we caught the next night we caught 6. You catch one over 7, one under 7. So the next night we caught one that was 6'11" and a half, like literally a half inch from being too big. So
wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're getting both of them tanned, and it's actually going to be the belly. They only tan the belly meat. Now you can do the whole hide, like the rigid on the back and all that stuff, but we didn't actually do all of that. We just did like the belly stuff, and that way it'll be, like we may get Lacey may get a purse made or something. We got some tan, and I got some, the smaller one, I got it done in like a turquoise color.
Okay.
So, yeah. But it's going to be cool nonetheless. And I'm probably more excited about the head getting done because that thing's just freaking big.
Well, that's big, and with what you're going to have done to it.
Yeah. Have we talked to you since Lacey killed her axis?
I'm trying. The last time we podcasted was turkey season.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
after.
So it's been a spell. I don't know that we had, honestly.
That was
So
in June. That was in June.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was before that.
We're on our honeymoon to the San Antonio Riverwalk.
Yeah,
I'm sure you probably have been down
I've
that way
been
before.
down there. Yep.
And super nice, super relaxed. And then we went on an axis deer hunt. So, and Lacey smoked her one.
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
That's
Really
awesome. Yeah, we've had both Drew and old Nick. Both of them got to go on axis hunts this summer as well, and their first time doing it. And it was awesome to see, awesome to watch. Really cool experience. Beautiful animals for sure.
They're gorgeous, gorgeous. That's another hide that I've got coming. So the hide that's left over after they do my mount, and I'm definitely getting a purse made out of it. So I can't wait.
That'd be awesome. I've shot one axis deer and it was just a doe, but I made sure that I had that hide tan because it's incredible. Yeah. Very cool.
It's unbelievable. Beautiful animals.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's fall hunting look like in Mississippi coming up?
Well, in Mississippi or kind of what we have planned to do.
Mississippi or whatever you got planned. I know that you're
and beyond.
You're traveling a lot.
Well, the Mississippi, I'm still waiting for my I had my big deer show up like one day. I thought another deer that I had on camera was the one that I call Blade, the one that I shot in the shoulder last year, and I got caught up in the moment, looked at his head right before I, hit the trigger on the release.
Yeah. And
that was, I was still dragging my knuckles about that. But anyway, so he hasn't been on camera much this year. And I just, I'm keep hoping that he shows up. But we have three pretty good deer on camera. So anyway, that's kind of what the Mississippi season looks like. And I have a couple other spots that the deer really don't probably show up until the rut kind of hits. And that's going to be, kind of mid-December-ish, and maybe a little bit before when they kind of get to doing a little pre-rut stuff. But we've been keeping the feeders full and moving cameras around. And honestly, I was telling Lacey I was really needing to go put a feeder or fill up a feeder at one of our other spots that we haven't even had a chance to go to yet. But it's just we've just gotten so busy and it's just so much going on that it's hard to find time, honestly. So as far as because we've been going to Archery for some football games because Cole, my stepson, her oldest son, is in college this year. Well, of course, we have football on Friday nights, and then if Ole Miss plays at home, we go to Oxford for the Saturday, and my phone is like literally just always somebody's texting about a hunt or calling about a hunt or emailing about a hunt, or I'm putting some posts on the Ridge Rock Hunt Company Facebook page or Instagram. It's been really busy. Yeah. And it's just been really busy. So
that's good.
And that's good. Yeah. But as far as other than that, actually I leave. We had a velvet season this year. And, before we got on the call, we talked a little bit about that, but football game Friday night, Saturday, Cole came home, so we wanted to spend some time with him. And then Sunday we had a meeting at church that afternoon, so I didn't even get to go for the first ever Mississippi Velvet season. Didn't get to go, but that's okay. Maybe we'll get to go next year. But anyway, I'm going to Colorado. I'm actually leaving Saturday for an archery elk hunt.
All right.
And it's a small piece of property. When I say small, because people think of going on elk hunts, they think, maybe public or, hundreds of thousands of acres, this, that, and the other. And so this is actually a private ranch, and it's 4,500 acres, and he's got a couple other ranches that aren't quite as big. But, if you look at it on OnX, it's, the migration comes right through there. He actually has 2 hunters in this week. And he said he saw a 350-inch bull running around. And they actually called one up today. And my outfitter guy said that one of the hunters got fidgety and couldn't be still. Elk shows up at 40 yards and spooks and runs. Do what?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I was like, dude, what? And he was like, yeah. So well, I guess that's just another elk we'll have an opportunity at when we get there, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing about elk hunting with archery equipment, I mean, the odds of you getting one is probably, I would say, pretty slim.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so if I get an opportunity, you know, in my brain right now, I'm thinking, number one, I get to go to Colorado. Number two, I probably am going to hear some bulls bugle. Number three, I may get an opportunity to see one up close bugling. And number four, may have an opportunity to get a shot.
Yeah.
You know? So, and in my brain, that's kind of how I'm looking at this hunt, because I've been thinking about it. You know, when you go on hunts anywhere, it's real easy to get caught up in thinking, I got to kill something.
Yeah.
You know, and especially when you go that far and you spend money and all that stuff, you can get caught up in that trap of, you know, the most important thing is for me to get there and to kill something. And a lot of folks just lose sight of the whole experience, you know. And as a matter of fact, that's whenever I talk to people about hunts, you know, I say, hey, everything that we do at Ridge Rock Hunt Company is about you having a great hunting experience.
Yeah.
You know, I don't guarantee any kills. I don't guarantee, I can't control the weather. It's just a whole lot of stuff that I can't control. And we've talked about that before too. But, you know, I just say, hey, you know, you're going to be on a great ranch and the guide's going to take care of you. And it's going to be this, this, and this. And that's what it is. And, you know, if the stars align and you get to harvest an animal, fantastic. You know, that's kind of the gravy on top. So,
yeah, that's the best way to think about it, man. I definitely had that experience in 2019, the last time I went to Montana on a pronghorn archery hunt, and because we hunted all week and were unsuccessful by the end of it. But I wouldn't trade that experience for the world, because I learned a lot. And that was my second year going, and I learned far more than I ever retained the first year going, which is the first year's the year I actually killed one. But the second year I learned so much more just through trial and error out there. And the other thing is you're just the environment that you're in, you can't beat it. You absolutely can't, you know. And folks ask me, they're like, well, why'd you go all the way from Texas to Montana to hunt pronghorn? Why don't you go to New Mexico or even the Texas Panhandle, you know, somewhere closer? And I was like, it's Montana. Why wouldn't I go? You know, so yeah.
That place is it's amazing. And you know, I tell people all the time. I've said it on this podcast, but in a previous episode.
Yeah.
When I worked for a pharmaceutical company, I went to a lot of different places all across the world as far as trips I won and those kind of things. And I was always ready to come home. But when I went to Montana and it was time to leave, I literally had something inside of me saying, this is where you belong. Yeah. I mean, it was just that kind of pull. And Lacey's going to get to experience it next year, because we're going on a pronghorn antelope hunt at my place there in southeastern Montana. And so anyway, she'll get to experience it next year and just kind of really take it all in and see all the animals and all that stuff. Because it is a target rich environment.
Yeah.
For
I'm excited.
Absolutely, for sure. No Montana this year for you though.
No, not this year. No, I had some buddies, which James and Mark and Josh. I don't know if y'all have done the podcast episode with those guys or not yet. But,
yeah, we're still trying to set that up, so that's coming.
Yeah. Those guys, they had a blast. I mean, every one of those guys were just like, man, this was the best trip ever, one of my top hunts ever, and all this. Yeah. So, but anyway, I didn't get to go. We didn't go this year because I was determined to go elk hunting this year, and was able to get all that worked out. So I just said, hey, I can't. Number one, I have a regular full-time job, and really I have two full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually 2.5 full-time jobs, because I have to do social media and different things on the side for different companies or whatever. So, but anyway. So it's been, so I had to kind of pick and choose, and so we'll be going back up there next year and having a big time. So wish you and Nick could come go with us. That'd be a good time.
Yeah. We've been putting in for it every year. Just these last 3 seasons now, we've been unsuccessful on our draw up there. So we're fingers crossed every year. But either way, and I'm sure that between now and next fall, I'll get with you on some other stuff. But Nick and we're like, man, we gotta do it. We love hunting Texas. Don't get me wrong, but we gotta do a trip of some sort, even if we don't get Montana again. I was like,
Right.
we're both determined next year we're going somewhere. So
Oh yeah.
I'm sure we'll use our we'll use you guys in Ridge Rock to help make that happen. So.
Oh yeah. Let's see, we both got drawn for Kansas this year for
Awesome.
Kansas Whitetail Hunt. One of my outfitters up in northern Kansas, really good spot, a lot of big deer. We'll actually be up there the 31st of October through November the 5th.
Okay.
So it's like prime time.
Yeah.
Prime time.
Oh yeah.
Last year, my buddy Stephen Kofelt and my best friend, two of my best friends, and Jim Kent were up there because I kind of have that's my week or whatever. And Stephen grunted. He had 9 shooter bucks, 150 or better, in one spot, just constantly coming through.
What?
9. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back. 9 shooters.
What?
One that morning, and it was like the hottest doe in the world just happened to show up right there at the right place, the right time, and he was in a 10-foot tripod. He hold on a second. I've got to show this.
Yeah. 9 shooters. That is
9 shooters. All right. So he's sitting there and he grunts up a buck, and he looks to his left, and I'm gonna show you the picture of the deer that was there. I don't know if you can see this or not.
We'll give it a shot.
I'm gonna cover up the guy's face so you don't see it.
Oh my word.
Can you see that?
I can see that. What in the world?
My buddy Stephen Kofelt had that deer at 8 yards.
8 yards.
8 yards. And he said he turned his head and he looked, and he said, and when I turned my head and looked at him, that deer was looking at me. And he said he turned off and hauled tail.
Oh my
But
God.
the neighbor killed that deer like 2 weeks later, scored 214.
214?
214.
Typical or non-typical?
I mean, he's kind of typical, but he's got a rack inside his rack.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can see that on the thing or not, but you see that rack on the inside there?
Yeah, I see that inside. That inside
I mean,
tire
that is
right
just-
there. That's
that is
crazy.
It's huge. So anyway, so we're going up there this fall, the 31st through November the 5th, and looking forward to it. And of course, I do a lot of work with that outfitter and stay in contact with him throughout the year. We've become friends, and so anyway, I actually sent 2 cameras up there for him to put out, and so we got more cameras out to try to make sure we getting hunters on deer and opportunities for deer that are daylighting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of work that goes into it, and and that's what I a lot of people don't understand the work that I do, because I think that a lot of people think of a hunt booking agent may not be as legit as some other like other deals,
Right.
but I do things totally different than anybody else. I stay in contact with my outfitters throughout the year. I call them and the hunter before the hunt. I keep up with all of them during the hunt just to make sure things are going smooth, and then I follow up with them after the hunt. So
Yeah.
But anyway, we try to get folks in good spots,
Yeah.
and something that they want. If somebody says they want 5-star lodging, then I'm probably not going to send them to this place.
Right.
But anyway, but it's so we have Kansas, and right now we don't have anything else kind of planned for the year. Not saying that something couldn't pop up, but
Right.
we'll kind of play that by ear as it comes.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, those Midwestern whitetails, man, they grow them different out there for sure. I just actually the podcast that's going to air at the time this episode's coming out, it'll be last week's episode. I sat down with Dustin Huff. You know who Dustin Huff is?
Yeah.
Yeah, killed the biggest typical whitetail ever killed in the United States last year, and we sat down with him last podcast and let him tell his story and everything. And I know he's been on other podcasts and stuff before telling that, but man, just everyday blue collar bow hunter, and 211-inch whitetail comes walking through the woods. It's absolutely insane. So
I couldn't imagine how he felt when the deer started walking up.
Yeah.
But number two, once he released that arrow and it was a good hit, I mean, he had to have just started I would have been shaking.
Yeah. He said that, he told me, and I encourage our listeners to go back and listen to the episode right before this, where we talked to him, because it's incredible to hear him tell a story. But he talks about how he thought that it was like 180-inch deer, which still his best deer ever. And the thing he was most excited about at first was that the biggest deer that had been killed on that property was his dad's deer a few years prior, which was 153. And the thing he was most excited about was killing a deer bigger than his dad's deer. He had no idea that he just shot the new United States typical record whitetail.
Wow.
No idea. And I think he said he finally had a buddy that was local that had done some scoring in the past that came out, and the second he laid eyes on him, he was like, dude, you don't know what you have here. So it's a crazy story. You never know, man. You never know.
That's right. Yeah. It's amazing how those deer, it's just amazing. I mean, especially in the Midwest, with it's just not much trees and just a lot of wide open country. I mean, I guess it just has to do with the rifle season's 2 weeks. I guess it evens the playing level, I guess, with the archery season being so long and it just being a small amount of rifle time. So, and plus, I guess they get a better opportunity possibly to breed. I mean, who knows? But those things are special. So we're excited. We're super excited.
I would be too, man. Well, good luck to y'all. I hope y'all get a big one. You bow hunting?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep. Dialed in, baby. Got that Elite Envision. It's smoking.
Badge of the bone, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, dude, that thing is so smooth. I mean, I've been backing up shooting it, 80, 90 yards, and how I hit the target, I don't know. But
what kind of sight do you run?
I run the CBE Trek Pro.
Okay.
It's the new CBE sight for this year. And the cool thing about that one is that I really like is that it has 2 needles. So if I dial let's say I have an animal at 70 yards, so I have the top needle at 20, and I have my particular bottom needle is at 44 yards. So as I move it down, they both move. So if I move it down to 60, wherever my top needle is, and whatever it is on the gauge, that's how far it is. So if it's say I move it from the 44 down to the 60, my top one that was at 20 may be at 37 now. And it's dead accurate.
Okay. I like that.
You kind of follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then my top pin is at that distance, and then my bottom pin is going to be at the 60.
So just a 2-pin sight?
Well, actually, I prefer the 5-pin. Here in Mississippi. Most of our shots are 30 yards in. And so I just prefer to have the top pins. Yeah, but not the top pins, but the 5 pins.
Right, but now you got 2 needles and 2 reference points if you come off of zeros, basically. So
right.
That's awesome.
If you dialed it up to, like I said, to 60, and all of a sudden something spooks an animal and it comes back in there to 30 something, then you got your top pin that will be on whatever the gauge says it is.
Yeah,
I've fished it a bunch of times, and it's money.
That's awesome. I'm also a big fan of the 5-pin. I'm still running, actually. I hadn't even changed it. I love it so much. The Engage Hybrid, which 5 pins, with the dial and the slide and everything on that, but just the 1 needle. So I'll have to. I don't know. I might have to, it's too late now, but I might have to upgrade. So
it's pretty slick, man. It's pretty slick. And of course, I'm gonna shoot the old slick trick. I'm taking my SS3s with me to Colorado. That's the Slick Trick stainless steel construction, one piece.
Yeah.
Those things fly great. My bow's really tuned, so that head flies just like the field tips do, and they hit hard. I mean, they're strong, and you can resharpen them too, which is super cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a couple of those. I'm gonna take a couple of my Slick Trick standards. That's a really good quality head, just like the original Slick Trick head. That thing is bad to the bone too. And they have a new one out that's called Torch.
Yep.
So I'm planning on getting that baby out and slinging some here in Mississippi at some deer too. So I like that titanium head on it.
Yeah, I'll be putting some torches in my quiver this fall and trying to do a little hunting down here. So I gotta tag out this year. My freezer's empty. So. But
Yeah.
well, man, good to catch up with y'all. I'm glad that Ridge Rock is going good and still just punching it out, man. That's awesome to hear. I know that you guys take pride in all the stuff that y'all do out there, and it's awesome to know that there's good folk out there trying to set people up with good experiences in the outdoors. So I know I tell everybody at every podcast, and if anybody's listened to recent episodes, that whatever you're looking to hunt, wherever you're looking to hunt, and whatever kind of your budget you're looking at to get with you, and you'll help figure something out, whether it's this year or saving for a future season, whatever it looks like. So appreciate what y'all do over there.
Yeah. It's been fun, and of course I was doing it for 3 years before we started doing it on our own, and so just the experience of talking to people, talking to clients, dealing with outfitters, dealing with people while they're hunting, and so we just keep trying to improve, and we'll add an outfitter here, another one there. We got a really good waterfowl guy now that's like 120 reviews and 4.9 rating, so just
Wow.
good stuff. And I know the guy, I know people that's hunted with him and had a big time, and I've had some few posts on about that. But man, I got if anybody's listening to this podcast and is wanting to hunt a bear, you need to call me, because I got about 30 bear hunts I can send people on.
Okay.
I tell Lacey, like, I don't know if it's like people in the South don't really care that much about hunting bear, but actually I have one guy that's local here that's going on a bear hunt. We have some really good stuff in Canada. Got some stuff out in North Carolina. I really like the stuff in Canada though. And of course, you got to get the vaccine to go to Canada, and some folks are real squirrely about that. So it's whatever people want to do on that. But anyway, we work hard, we grind it out, and we respond. People can call us, get me on the phone, they can text. I think that's the main thing that probably sets us apart from most is, number one, the personal service that we get. And from there, we just try to make sure the experience is a good experience, from the contract being sent to Lacey sending an invoice to signing it, emailing the contract back and receiving payment, and communication from there to, the outfitters copied on all the emails. And so it's just, we just try to keep everybody communicated up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference, man. I think people appreciate that, and they know that we're trying to help them. And I think, some people are, anytime they go on a new hunt, are still going to be a little on edge about, what's this hunt really going to be like. And it's super cool to me for people to call and be like, dude, this trip was awesome. I really appreciate you setting us up with this and this, that, and the other. So,
yeah.
And that's honestly the most gratifying portion of all that we do, is when I get that picture in a text said, I just smoked one, or whatever the case may be. And I mean, that just really, really fires me up and gets us, keeps us going.
Yeah.
Keeps us going. So
that's awesome.
And it's busy, I will tell people, a lot of folks want to text and or email about a hunt, and we can, give you information that way. But, a lot of times it's just better just to get on the phone, so, we can talk through kind of what your plan, what your goal is.
Yeah.
And once we can identify what animal, what location, all of those things, then we can start putting together, okay, well, here are the budget, here are the options that we have that your goal of what you're trying to achieve on your hunt.
Yeah.
And hey, sometimes it works out great for them and they want to do it. And sometimes it's, maybe a little bit too high or maybe a little bit too far or a little bit something. And, but I tell it like it is. I don't sugarcoat anything about the locations. I'm not going to tell somebody, oh yeah, you're going to kill a 200-inch deer there this year. It's like, hey, it's hunting. The deer there, they're a big deer there, or whatever they're doing. I'll shoot them straight. And because when you tell people it's going to be something and they get there and that's what it is, then you just your level of trust goes up, and that's what we want as hunters, is people to be able to trust us, and we trust that they're prepared to go hunt and capitalize on a situation when it presents itself.
Absolutely. Very cool. How many outfitters are in your network?
Right now we have about 53.
Awesome.
About 53. And matter of fact, I have some of my outfitters have started saying, hey, you do such a good job with me for this. I have a buddy that's in Canada or wherever. Let me link you up with him. He could probably use a little help booking some hunts for them too.
Awesome.
And generally what that actually comes from, Sam, is excuse me, the personal service. Like I said, maybe they've had somebody booking hunts for them in the past and they've grown to a much larger company and they lose that personal touch. And then the outfitters just don't feel like they're as valued anymore. So I just, I think the personal touch is a lost art in this world. And because of technology and because of, the different means of communication other than getting on the phone and just talking, So that's what we try to do. Do it the right way. Takes a little bit more time and a little more effort, but, if it's not quality, I just don't like to mess with it. If I'm going to do it, we're going to do it right.
Absolutely. No, that's the best way to do it, man. Good for y'all. That's good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know, like we always do, after we hang it up, we'll probably hang on here for a second and chat. But to wrap up the podcast, tell folks where they can find y'all, how they can get a hold of you.
Well, the best way for the Ridge Rock Hunt Company, you can either go to the website, which is www.ridgerockhuntcompany, and that has all of our social media contact information on there. And so you can click on it, it'll take you to YouTube, it'll take you to Instagram, it'll take you to Twitter, it'll take you to Facebook. We are kind of twinkling around a little bit with the TikTok, having some kind of fun with that, doing some different stuff. And but so Ridge Rock Hunt Company on Facebook, Ridge Rock Hunt Co. on Instagram, Ridge Rock Hunt Co. on Twitter, and then Ridge Rock Hunt Company on YouTube and also on the TikTok. So a lot of different avenues. Sometimes we kind of mix it up on the different pages, doing different things. We post probably the primary posts for some of the hunts that we have available are going to be on the Facebook page. So that works pretty good.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I've said it on the podcast before, I can't open up my Instagram without seeing something dead from old Ridge Rock Hunt Company on there. So.
Yeah. We like to be successful, man. I'm proud of you guys for the success y'all are having, and just thankful to have the relationship, and look forward to a time where we can get together and actually maybe go make something bleed.
It's coming, man. I know it is. At some point, we're all gonna be in a deer camp or some sort of camp together, and gonna go shoot something. I know it. So
yeah, I'll let Lacey show y'all how to shoot.
Yeah, I need all the help I can get. So Stone Cold Killer over there. So well, guys, thank y'all again. Always a good time to get on here and podcast with y'all. And I'm sure as the season opens up and transpires here, especially after that Kansas trip, at some point, whether it's mid-season or after season, we'll be back on here with y'all. So always good to catch up. But
absolutely.
For our listeners, thank y'all for listening. If you are new to Fall Obsession Podcast, hit that follow and subscribe button, whatever podcast platform you're listening on. We're on all major podcast platforms. We also are now, you guys can stream us not just on YouTube, but also on Carbon TV, as well as some of our video series as well. So go check us out on there. FallObsession.com is our website. That's where you can go to learn more about us and all the media production stuff that we do at Fall Obsession. And I normally say at this point that Ridge Rock Hunt Company is the partner, and give a little spiel on that, but can't beat the man himself giving it just now. So appreciate y'all again. Thanks for coming on.
Man, yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for listening. We're back again next week, as always, with another Fall Obsession podcast episode, and we will catch you then.